I built about 7 years ago. I've always played Gibson jazz guitars, and quite a lot of them were vintage instruments, and one day I decided I needed a guitar to take out busking and take out to gigs that weren't that important, so I decided I'd build one because I was a bit frightened of taking my L7 out because it was one of the original 1950s L7 Gibsons, and it was probably worth a great deal of money, and it was signed by Mr. Leonard Law on the label, and people were telling me that I was an idiot to take it out on the street, so I decided to build the ultimate busking guitar. Now this is quite an interesting axe actually, because I wanted to get the penetration and the good chunky sound of an Archtop with a bit more bass and bottom end. And one of the things about this guitar is it's got a cedar top, and I like cedar because what happens is it gives you the sound of a vintage guitar virtually straight out after building it or buying it. And this one's got a carved cedar straight grain quarter sawn top from a vintage piece of timber. I had a lovely piece of ash which I bent around for the sides, and the actual back is a piece of totara with an inlay or a central piece. Now I've used this guitar for about 8 years and it's actually stood up really well. The necks are made out of a lamination of mahogany and maple. There's lovely top quality tuners on it. The necks, this is where it gets interesting, the neck's actually a short scale neck. That means I can run heavier strings which has a lower string tension, so I can use big heavy strings and it doesn't hurt my fingers. As well as that, this is high E, so I can get up to high A. So I can solo right up the neck like an electric guitar, hence the cutaway and the short scale neck. I also stole a few design things here. This is off a D'Acquisto or a D'Angelico. This is the stuff that, these are the sorts of guitars that D'Angelico was making before he died. He was trying to sort of write a new chapter in Archtop design, and I just took his design and changed a few more things. One, I made the body a bit deeper. Also, because if you've got a guitar like an Archtop and you want to get more bass into it, the minute you put braces on an Archtop, it actually makes it more toppy and middly. So what I did, I had no braces at all on the top, and I got a metal bar running through because I studied some of the early Carlson guitars, and they had no braces on the tops. They had a lovely, big, rich, deep sound, and they ran a metal torsion bar between the end block and front block. So that's what we did, no braces whatsoever, and that's given us a bit more bottom end. So that's what we wanted, without sort of substituting the nice top end you get with an Archtop, and that nice chunky sort of. But this one's a lot boomier, and I actually took a lot of advice off Bob Benedetto, and he actually wrote me a letter after I finished it and showed him images of it and clips of me playing it. Incredibly helpful and very supportive letter, and he really liked the design and the way I did it. And I think he pointed out, I think he kind of said he'd love to do a lot more of this stuff himself, but he just knows that people don't buy them. You know, in the marketplace, he's got to sell guitars that kind of look like the one George Benson or Wes Montgomery have ever played, you know, so he's kind of tired. But this is kind of a maverick guitar. It's got the range of an electric. It's got a hybrid between an Archtop and an acoustic. And what I found it really useful for was actually playing with bands that had piano accordions or other guitars, because it cut right through. And actually people standing out off stage were amazed how loud it was. For me it doesn't sound that loud, but it is. And one thing I actually considered was putting a sound port on the top, and I do that on a lot of guitars I build, and that way the guy playing it gets to hear it too. And that's really useful, because otherwise if you can't really hear your guitar, you play too loud, you play too hard, and then your fingers cramp up and you can't play the tricky stuff. I see a lot of street guitarists battling with that a lot when they're playing acoustic music, because they simply bugger their fingers up because they can't keep up to it. The other advantage of this guitar is it's big enough to put your lunch in the sound hole. Actually, something's in there. Oh. Anyway, maybe it's a cleaning cloth. I put my lunch in it. It's big enough. So it's a good guitar for playing, I find, for street music, for playing acoustic music. I play jazz. It's got a Kent Armstrong pickup, and that gives you instant George Benson or any of the other jazz greats, because it performs electrically like a really good jazz guitar, and you can do the sort of whatever. I've got other clips of me playing it on my Facebook, Big Al Guitar Player, so you can actually look at the other clips, but I'll go out playing some throwaway number, but got an ebony fingerboard. As I said, it's got all the best bits in it, and it's probably unique. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it. And I build guitars like this. This was more or less the one that got me started on the journey of making New Zealand-made native timber guitars. But this is kind of a hybrid because even the timbers are imported, but it kind of got me thinking about native timber, and after this one I started using native timber. But this one stacks up very well against my modern ones, and a hell of a lot better than most of the Archtops you see in the shops. It's got a completely different sound, so I like it. I'll go out playing something, God knows what. It's on Trade Me at the moment, and if anyone wants to email me questions about it, feel free.